You've heard of Bitcoin, right? But have you heard of challenge coins? No? Well, let me tell you, it's booming. Right now, tens of thousands, heck, maybe even hundreds of thousands of service members are collecting challenge coins. And it's a real big deal. And they need a way to proudly display those coins. That's where we come in. These things are flying off the shelf on Etsy. After just a quick search, I found a few, and most had items in the cart and were in high demand. We can build them a little nicer though, and customize them if you have a laser engraver, and really set ours apart from the rest of the herd. The reason service members like these is they're small, they don't take up much room, and they're easy to pack. The reason I like them is they're relatively easy to build, and I can batch out several in a day and make some serious profit. So, if you want to put some coin in your pocket too, stick around and let's see how to build this together. So let's get going. Sapelli. I really don't know how to pronounce this wood. So if you could leave a comment below and tell me what word it rhymes with, because I'd really like to know how to pronounce this wood. What I do know is African mahogany. And I also know that this is a thick slab, 8/4 inch wide, big piece. It's left over from another project, and I got the perfect project for you today for it. Smooth. Now this slab is a little too wide for my miter saw, so I'm going to use the cross-cut sled, and that's just going to make things a little bit easier. This board has some cracking on the end of the board over here, so I'm going to be using this side. We only need 17 inches of the board, so I'm going to mark the board at 17 inches and then use the cross-cut saw to cut it off. Well, it looks like I forgot to hit record when I cut these to width, but that's okay. Now back to the joiner to mill two sides. Now before I make the next cuts, I have to take my blade guard off. I've got my table saw unplugged. This is just a quick change out. Want to put your riving knife in. You don't want to make any cuts without a riving knife to separate the wood as it comes out of the blade. That way you don't get any kickbacks. Or at least it limits the chance of kickbacks. I've marked the angle I want to cut the wedge for the display. The front of the wedge will have a 3/4 inch face, and then it tapers to the opposite corner. When ripping a piece this thick, it's better to make multiple passes to allow the sawdust to clear the blade. And a ripping blade works best, a little bit better than a combo blade, or definitely better than a finished blade. When the board is flipped over, there just isn't enough room between the fence and the blade. A couple of pieces of double-sided tape and a straight waste board to offset the main piece does the trick. Got the wedges cut out on the table saw. They came out pretty good, though the top is a little rough. So I'm just going to do a couple passes on the joiner and it will smooth those right up. So I've marked the board where the coin slots are going to go. I've adjusted my blade to a 20-degree angle in a 3/16 height. It's important to adjust that blade at a 20-degree angle because since this is a wedge, you can't have the blade at 90 degrees because then the coins would be sitting forward on the wedge versus sitting backwards on the wedge during display. I left space at the bottom of these so I can engrave the person's name into them. But if you weren't going to engrave them, you could just add one more row for challenge coins. I sanded these up to 220 grit before giving them a light spritz of water to pop the grain. Once they were fully dried, then I put them in the laser engraver and engraved the names and emblems on them before final sanding to 320 grit. I applied Danish oil to these, making sure to get it down in all the grooves really well. Once it was all dry, then I applied 3 coats of wipe-on polyurethane. So the final step, once the polyurethane is dry, is to put on some of these felt pads on the bottom, which prevents the bottom from getting scratched up. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this challenge coin display project video and can see the potential for making some good profit, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button. It's totally free and really helps the channel grow. Click here to check out another awesome project video. Catch you on the next one.